What happened in the last episode? I travelled to the Alps, crossed the Col du Télégraphe and the Col du Galibier, had an immense headache.
So, I finally made it to a camping ground. My head hurts, my stomach is turning around, and I think I definitely overdid it today.
And started my off-road journey with the Ruta di Asieta, which was incredible and perfect for a beginner. I'll link it at the end of this video if you want to know more. Welcome to part 2.
Today we're going to start a little bit earlier because I hope in that we can escape the most brutal heat, which is at its peak at about 2 or 4 o'clock, somewhere in between, and it does get quite hot here, like 30 Celsius or something, and being in the pure sun is always a little bit stressful, so let's try to get out early. So the target for today is to get to the Col de Sommelier, which is about 3,000 meters high, and to get there we will pass the, I have to look this up and I'm probably going to slaughter the name, Col de l'Echelle, I guess it's what it's called, just to take a different route. And I hope that by doing that we will skip a little bit of tarmac, because I think that it's not all the way paved. It's not as high as the other ones. It's like, I think, one of the lowest cols to get between France and Italy, with 1,700 meters. But, well, if it's unpaved, it's a win. So I'm going to do my coffee and breakfast, and then after that we can start the day.
As I reached the Col de l'Echelle, I was a little bit disappointed to find it fully paved, with its summit proving to be rather unspectacular. However, the journey to the Italian side quickly made up for it, rewarding me with a breathtaking morning scenery. The winding serpent road provided me a stunning view of the surrounding mountain peaks, beautifully illuminated by the first light of day. A little later, I arrived at the Col de Sommelier, where today's adventure began.
Hello! One up to the...
Yeah, it's 8.
Do you have to show that somewhere?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's just free will.
So it doesn't matter if I lose it?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
thanks.
may be asking for it, but never happens. So.
I'll try to not lose it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
After paying the entrance fee, I could start today's stage. The trail started off fairly easy and welcoming for beginners, as it led towards the 2,000 meter high Lago di Rochemolles, showing some of the finest that the Alps have to offer.
Well, if you need a refreshment, there you go.
For a short moment, I considered dipping my feet into the lake, but to do that I would have had to climb down with my MX boots, so I decided against it and instead chose to capture some beautiful drone shots of the area. And then quickly continued up the road.
This looks like a nice place to make a picnic. Maybe on the way back. So on the way to the top you usually have this refugio, but it seems closed. I don't know if permanently or just at the moment, but good that I've got my own coffee with me. But the view is absolutely worth it. And if you didn't know it, the Col de Sommelier is actually not a real col, because it only goes up one way and goes down the same way. It's a dead end. To be a col, you would have to go up one way and down the other.
This is where a beginner should definitely take a break, because the trail becomes increasingly challenging from this point onward. The trails upwards from here are full of quite steep curves which are washed out a lot, as well combined with a lot of loose rocks. It makes this section a little challenging, But if you want to give it a try, here's the trick. It's important to not lose momentum, and you need to keep a good line to preserve energy, because it will take time until a flat part comes again. And I can tell you, it's definitely not too much fun with all the video gear and luggage. But hey, that's what it takes to make these videos.
What an astonishing view. Can't wait to get up. And I always try to stop once in a while to make some pictures at some nice areas for Thomas, the man behind EMD Adventure Gear, because he was so nice and lent me the side bags, the Reckless Pannier system, which is a prototype at the moment. So it's going to be a little bit different when it gets to the market, but yeah, quite cool.
And I also had a quite nice view on the famous marmots living up here. And something that I realized here, similar to the Route de Asieta.
We're never alone up here.
But if you don't just want to be surrounded by strangers and maybe accompanied by somebody familiar, I would highly recommend to try the free subscription plan of X-Element Motornet, where you can find riding buddies to enjoy adventures like these together. You'll find a link in the description below. From here on, I started the last section of the trail, unknowing that it would get even more difficult than I expected. The surface became rougher and rockier with every meter I got closer to the tip, making it very difficult to keep a good line with a heavy bike like this. This is a section that definitely challenges every beginner. It's a solid 8 out of 10 on the beginner scale. I kept going until I was about 120 meters below the peak, where the path was covered by snow and ice, what made it nearly impossible for me to keep going with my heavy bike. But I must admit, I tried.
Possible? I'll give it a try. Yeah. I came so far. Thanks.
After just 3 meters, my front tire started slipping and I already got stuck.
Nope. No, not again. Thanks.
And even some lighter dirt bikes didn't dare to try. It was just too risky.
So I made it to 2,860 meters, and from here on everything is full of snow. And I tried, but it seems like I'm not capable of passing it. And some others tried as well. Luckily there were some people to help me to pull the bike out, otherwise I would have struggled a little. But I think I'm going to make some drone shots, make a nice coffee, a nice break, and then back down.
After a pleasant chat with some fellow adventurers, I began my descent and drove back to the campsite.
Na, jetzt dachte ich, du versuchst es. Ich bin noch in Versuchung. Eine Kehre wäre noch drin. So, with an astonishing view behind me, I enjoyed my coffee and now I'm going to head towards the camping space back downhill and enjoy a little more the view. I'm back from the trail and just realized I'm running low on underwear, especially socks. And that's why we're going to utilize the stationary stay to just wash a little stuff. So, to get that working, we're just going to use the dry bag, fill it with water, put the stuff in it, and a little bit of dish soap, and then scrub like hell. Rinse, repeat, until it's clean. And when everything's hung up, we can finally go and get a beer. I'm waiting for that.